Well, the LA Galaxy and LAFC ended in a 2-2 draw, in which was a pretty competitive game for the most part. Both teams looked like they were up for the challenge, looked like they really wanted to win this game, which is something you expect in a big rivalry, which most people consider the biggest rivalry in MLS in El Tráfico. And no matter how bad either of these teams are, this is always a very competitive match. And that's what we saw today on the pitch. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to MLS Moves. Please make sure you like this video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 7,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of my videos. Now, going into this game, the LA Galaxy had a lot of pressure on them. The LA Galaxy haven't won a game in 13 matches. They just extended their manager and Greg Vanney, which made a lot of the fan base upset because many people didn't believe he was worthy of getting an extension, especially with how the season had been. Now, they did have a lot of injuries, and Ricky Puig, obviously their best players, out. But a lot of people believe, including myself, that even with injuries, it's unacceptable that a team could be winless through 14 or 13 matches in Major League Soccer, 14 now winless through for the LA Galaxy. And they're playing at home. They had a great home record in MLS last year in the 2024 season when they won MLS Cup. And then LAFC is a team that came in here that was red hot. They had been unbeaten in their last 5 or 6 matches. Denny Bouanga absolutely on fire recently, entering the MVP race. I believe he has. He's been one of the best players in Major League Soccer the last couple weeks. There's a lot on the line here. Two teams in opposite directions. Now, in the first half, the LA Galaxy came out swinging. Gabriel Peck, a guy that I thought was on pace to be the MLS outgoing transfer record, looked like his old self. He was dangerous on the right wing. He was creating chances. He almost had he almost scored a couple of times. His pace, you just saw the class of what makes him a different player in Major League Soccer. And obviously, the Galaxy didn't have Joseph Paintsil in the first half. He didn't start. So I was a little weary of how things would pan out, but they were able to score a goal early. Marco Reus got the unconventional goal where he scored it off of his thigh. And then I thought to myself, well, hey, this is a team that can't score goals. And if they're scoring this early and they look this dangerous in the first half, who knows what could happen? Maybe they could make this interesting because the game is always competitive. Well, then shortly after that, Denny Bouanga scores an absolute golazo 13 minutes in. I mean, he scored it from far. And I thought, okay, here we go again. LA Galaxy showing their defensive deficiencies, why they can't hold a lead because they can't stop anybody from scoring. I was thinking that this is going to be a repeat of what happened on Wednesday, where the Galaxy were up 2-0 and they ended up folding and giving up the lead. But then it was a battle the whole half. Both teams had their chances. They looked pretty good. But then in the second half, 50 minutes in, Nathan Ordaz scored an absolute beautiful goal. And it was a beautiful pass from Ryan Hollingshead. Perfect pass, perfect through ball to him. Scored a clinical goal. And LAFC are up 2-1. And I thought, okay, is LAFC about to run with this? Did the LA Galaxy have it in them to make a comeback? Because this team has not been able to do this all season long. When they're down, they're down. They aren't able to prevail and make a comeback. Are they going to be able to do that against their biggest rival tonight? So they didn't. They had a couple chances. Now, Gabriel Peck had this goal that was considered offside, and it was clearly offside. I mean, Aaron Long, it wasn't even close. Like they showed two angles. The first angle, Aaron Long, you could tell, but it wasn't clear. But then on the second angle, you could tell that Aaron Long was on the picture, like when they showed the image, the still image, you could see Aaron Long's arm. You couldn't even see Gabriel Peck on it. So that tells you right there that he was not onside. So that was clearly offside for Gabriel Peck on that goal. And then you had the Joseph Paintsil foul. Maybe, I don't know if it was a foul. Drew Fisher didn't think it was a foul, or at least the VAR did not think it was a foul enough to where they didn't call it for him to go look at it. So they weren't awarded a goal. Maybe they were lucky on that, on both of those, LAFC. But then Marco Reus scored a beautiful, beautiful free kick to tie this game up in the 87th minute. Vintage Marco Reus looked so much better. I would argue that this is probably the best game Marco Reus has had as an LA Galaxy player. This Marco Reus tonight we saw. Best game he's had as an LA Galaxy player. He scored a brace. Looked incredible for LA Galaxy. Maybe not as good as he has in the past, obviously, for Dortmund, obviously. But as far as a Galaxy player, best he's looked as an LA Galaxy player. And he's the reason they were able to get 1 point tonight. Marco Reus. And then another issue, too, with LAFC is they tried to park the bus so early. They tried to park the bus so early in this game. I don't know what Steve Cherundolo was thinking, why he would park the bus. I want to say it was 60, 70 minutes into the game. You cannot do that in Major League Soccer because you make yourself vulnerable. And every time that Steve Cherundolo has tried to park the bus since he's been coaching LAFC, it always turns around and bites him in the ass. Always. It never works out for him. And that's what happened tonight. They parked the bus too early. They didn't have the attack to score when the LA Galaxy tied it up. They didn't have the guys out there to try to score again. They just didn't have it. So they put themselves in a bad position when they got this game tied up, weren't able to score to take the lead back, and they had plenty of time to do it. I mean, there was like 9 minutes of added time, but it was really 11 minutes because of the head injury that forgot which LA Galaxy player it was at the time, but someone, Frankie Amaya, headbutted this guy accidentally, and they had to stop the game for like a minute or two. So they added 2 more minutes. So it was really 11 minutes of added time. And LAFC kind of just gave this one away, I think. And the LA Galaxy did look good. I don't want to take it away from them. They definitely looked better than they had in previous games. But the LAFC gave this game away. They honestly should have had the 3 points. But LA Galaxy found a way to get a point. Now, LAFC definitely was the better team coming into this. LA Galaxy had a lot to prove going into this game. Greg Vanney, not exactly the result you would need after the chaotic week, but it's better than losing to your rival, because if LA Galaxy had lost to LAFC, I don't know what would have happened. Honestly, I don't know what would have happened, what the narrative would have been. I don't know how the fan base would have reacted, but it wouldn't have been pretty, because this fan base, LA Galaxy, are very passionate. And when they think things are going the wrong way, they make their voices heard. They boycotted the games to get Chris Klein fired. They made their voices heard. So who knows what would have happened if they had lost to LAFC. But they were able to get the point. But listen, we have to be fair here, though. We have to be honest. The LA Galaxy are still winless in 14 matches this year. They still have not won a game in 2025. So while this was a good performance, this is not necessarily heading in the right direction. They got a tough schedule. They got to play San Diego FC. They got to play San Jose next. They have a tough road ahead. There's a lot of tough games on their schedule coming up. They've got to start getting some wins. Yes, they're like 13, 14 points out of the playoff spot, but they have to start getting some wins. Yes, Greg Vanney signed an extension, but I wouldn't say his job is exactly safe 100%, because what happens if they don't win a game through 20 or 25 games? What happens if that is the case? You can't speak definitively that he is going to keep his job no matter what. So we'll see what happens with that, but they really needed to get, I think they needed the 3 points. I think both of these teams needed 3 points, not 1 point each. Both of these teams really needed the 3 points tonight, in my opinion, especially LAFC, because LAFC's got this big game coming up against Club America to try to get a chance to play at the FIFA Club World Cup. And they needed momentum to go into that game, feeling good, confident, so that they could win it. And Steve Cherundolo is showing you why you wouldn't have confidence in them winning this game, because he always comes up short in big pressure games. Steve Cherundolo does. And that's always been my major criticism of him. And then also LAFC, you can just see they have some defensive deficiencies. I didn't think Aaron Long was that good tonight. Ryan Hollingshead wasn't very good outside of the pass he had to Ordaz. And I don't think that Segura was good. Segura wasn't good at all. The defense in LAFC is very questionable. They need to add some players this coming up window if they truly want to be a champion or contender, at least in the MLS Cup playoffs. Both of these teams need to make some moves. I don't think the Galaxy are going to, because of the season they've had. LAFC might, because they obviously feel like they could be a piece or two away from winning MLS Cup. Another interesting thing too, Olivier Giroud. is the third option a striker now for LAFC. They picked Ordaz to start in this big game. Okay, that's fine. He's been good this year. But then when he came off the bench, you had Jeremy Ebobisse come on. So your designated player, French legend, all-time goal scorer for France, is your third option goalkeeper, paying him $6.5 million a year. That's a huge red flag. That is a huge red flag, especially for the salary he's making. But I will say this. This is always an entertaining game. Some people I saw on Twitter or X were saying LAFC was going to win 6-0, 7-0, 5-0, 4-0, whatever it may be. And you can't ever say that about this game. This game is always close. Neither one of these teams have ever blown out the other team. It doesn't matter what their positioning is in the conference standings, how bad they're doing that season. Neither one of these teams are ever that bad when it comes to this game. They always get up for this game. This game is always competitive no matter what. And it was the same thing once again. It was the same thing once again. And no matter what, this is always going to be I think the biggest rivalry in MLS because the game never disappoints. And both these teams are always going to play it to the best of their abilities. So both of these teams come away with a point. I want to know what you guys think down below about the first installment of El Tráfico because there's still two more. What do you guys think about the first installment of El Tráfico 2025? Which team do you think looked better? How do you feel about the LA Galaxy? How do you feel about LAFC? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop me a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.